everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be answering your questions. Finally, it took me a while. Thanksgiving week is just, it's crazy. It is insanity, and yeah. So there's that. I won't bore you with details. Details of people knocking down eyeshadows because we had them 10 for $10. That was not on Black Friday, that was on Saturday. It was crazy. I ended up so exhausted after that day. It was so crazy. Like I can't even put it into words. But this video is not about that insanity. It's about answering questions. So I'm gonna pull the questions right here from my laptop because I want to answer as many as I can. If you asked a question, thank you so much for contributing to this video. I really appreciate it. The first question comes from Waiting to Soar 13. The questions, well, yeah, there's 3 questions. The questions are you dating anyone? No, I'm not. How do you stay positive and happy when you're feeling not great? You know what? It's hard. Last week was a perfect example of that. Because when I get very anxious and stressed out, my mood is not the greatest. I have been taking St. John's wort for years now. That helps with my mood a little bit, but the rest will come just by, you know, thinking or forcing yourself or challenging yourself to think positively. It's not the easiest thing, especially when you have dealt with depression and anxiety, but you just have to you have to push yourself. It sucks when you do have that combination like I do. Right now I'm not depressed, thankfully, but you know, for me it can happen anytime if I'm not taking care of my mental health. And if I can't be happy, then at least I can be thankful for, you know, being alive, thankful for having friends, thankful for pretty much my life. And that in itself kind of puts things into perspective, so I'm not so groggy. But I mean, it happens. It happens to all of us. And the third question is, will you ever get a pixie again? I will. Not at the moment. At the moment, I'm still just, this feels very much like me. I just feel very comfortable with a bob. The next question comes from Jasmine. She asks, what's your favorite band? And if I have any music recommendations. So my favorite bands, because I cannot name just one. That would be like, I don't know. That seems like torture to me. I love music so much. So if you can't see from the back, I do love Phoenix. They're one of my favorite bands. I'm going to see them again for the 3rd time this year, next week, which I'm so excited about. I also love Daft Punk. They've been one of my favorite bands since I was 10. So it's been like 18 years. It's been crazy. The Killers have been one of my favorites since they came out in like 2013. So once again, it's been a while since I've been like a fan of them and have followed their career. I also really love Chromeo. Chromeo have their autographed vinyl right here. St. Vincent. She's like my favorite like female musician. I also love Tennis, which I recently saw. Arcade Fire I also saw this year. So I have a lot of favorites, but if I could narrow it down to like my top 3, it would be The Killers, Phoenix, and Daft Punk. And music recommendations. Alright, so I was just listening to Alex Cameron. A lot of you know that I love that guy. And I think his newest album is just, it's so good. It's so, I don't know, it's catchy. It kind of nostalgic in a way, although I didn't grow up in the 80s. It has a lot of 80s vibes, and the lyrics are just so witty and funny and different. So I really, really love his latest album that he released not too long ago. Angel Olsen, who actually has a duet with Alex Cameron in his album. Her album is also really, really good. I would say any of my favorite bands, if you haven't listened to them, Tennis is also, I got so many messages after the Tennis show because a lot of you hadn't heard of them, but you really enjoyed their music. So if you haven't heard of Tennis or any of their stuff, I would highly recommend them. The next questions are from Savannah. She asked, do you see yourself living anywhere else in the future? If so, where? Ideally, I would love to go back to Paris and live there just because I studied there for 10 months and it was one of those places where I just felt like I belonged there. I didn't feel awkward or misplaced. I didn't feel lost or I don't know, I just felt like it was a weird feeling. I think the closest I could describe it to is like finding your soulmate and just like, you know, this is right. But going to Paris is so complicated. I've looked into it before and it's just hard. It is hard. I mean, you can go there and visit, you can study there pretty relatively easily, but to live there, it is complicated. So ideally, I would love to go back and live there, but if I could move anywhere in the US, I would love to go anywhere up near the Bay Area. Then the other question is, do you have any tips or advice for young adults trying to find true friends? Recently, you know, I felt really hopeless when it came to finding really good friendships just because of my age. I'm, you know, now in my late 20s and even in my mid 20s, I just felt a little bit hopeless. Like I'm too old to be making friends. But that's when I actually did find myself making friends. So a lot of my friends have come from going to concerts on my own. I see other girls just there on their own and we just start talking to one another, and I've met really great friends through just going to concerts. Another way that I've met friends is at work recently, and I know a lot of you that follow me on Instagram and also Snapchat see how well we get along with one another. And I think working in an environment where it's pretty much all females, you would expect there to be like jealousy or cattiness and, you know, just those type of like emotions, because I mean we're all girls, but it's been the complete opposite. I've learned to just open myself up, not to build a wall, especially when it comes to friendships. I've also had to learn how to be more open-minded when it comes to, you know, friends. Not everyone that I'm friends with has the same taste in music or the same taste in entertainment or clothing or even like personalities. Like I really have had to, you know, accept people for who they are. Just having someone who is literally the opposite of me has helped me, you know, I don't know, build friendships and realize that I don't need to be friends with my twin, literally. So those are some of my tips. It's never too late to build friendships, and that's something that I have learned in the last, you know, year and a half. A lot of my friends now, we're very different, but we just mesh really well, and most of them have come through work, which makes me very happy. I love going to work just because I get along with everyone there, so it's been amazing. The next question is from Aaliyah. She asked, what are some of your career aspirations and if I have any current travel plans? So I would love to stay in the world of cosmetics. I have really learned to love not only makeup artistry, but just teaching about makeup. That's been what I really love. I would love to be a makeup educator, like for a brand. I think that would be super neat. And I love teaching the everyday woman, the woman that doesn't know how to make herself feel confident and beautiful. Like there's been times that I have, you know, sat down with a woman. We do take appointments at Bare Mineral, so I do walk people through each and every single step, teach them about, you know, skincare and ingredients and what to do, like just little tips and tricks, and at the end they're just like so blown away by something so simple, but it has, I don't know, it's really sparked an interest in me to pursue that as a career. And for the second question, do I have any travel plans? I do, actually. I do, but I'm a procrastinator when it comes to my travel plans. So I'm gonna go see the Killers in 4 different cities next year in like January, February. I'm very excited about it. Yeah, I'm gonna follow the Killers. I'm gonna follow Brandon Flowers around and around. It's my first time doing that. Most of the time I'll go to like 2 shows in the same tour, but this time I was just like, let's go forward. The next questions come from Melody Black. She asked if I like Harry Potter, and if so, what's my house? I actually, oh my god, I don't like Harry Potter. I'm so sorry. I have tried to get into Harry Potter, and I did since I was a kid. I remember I was still living in Tijuana, Mexico when, you know, Harry Potter was, you know, the shit, and like it was so new and everybody was going crazy about it. And my dad bought me a book. He's like, you need to read this, all the American kids are reading it. And I was just like, Mexico didn't really, well, at least in my school, they didn't really encourage reading as a form of leisure. So I was just like, what am I supposed to do with this? Yeah, and then once the movies came out, I went to watch them again with my dad because he told me that's what American kids liked, and I just didn't get into it. I don't know, maybe I'm willing to give it another chance now as an adult. Maybe I'll enjoy it more, but I'm not the biggest Harry Potter fan. I like Lord of the Rings, so I really, really love Lord of the Rings. Give me anything Tolkien and I'll be like, yes. What's your favorite place in the whole world? Paris, France. No surprise to anyone. My favorite food is used to be sushi, but now I'm all about ramen. But I just love Japanese food in general. And what makes you really happy? Why am I blanking out on this question? My family makes me really happy. My dogs, Brandon flowers. Next question is from Jimena Navarro. She asked, what perfumes are your favorite and why? I really love the Nest Dahlia and Vines. That one's one of my favorite just because I love floral scents, but that one just smells like really fresh flowers. It smells like, you know, real flowers. Narciso. This one's very powdery, but just fresh, girly. A little bit more sophisticated, so if I want to feel fancy, I'll wear this. The L'Odyssée Pure, that one is one of my favorites. Whenever I wear it, I just get so many compliments because it smells pure, it smells fresh and clean. Just, it's a very light and wearable fragrance. Have to give a little shout out to Olivia because she loved the makeup, she loved the green eyeshadow and the lip combination, so thank you. The next question though is from Brandon. He asked, if I could collab with any company to produce any makeup product, which company would you choose? What would you make and why? This was one of my favorite questions because, I don't know, it makes me giddy. I love makeup, you guys know that. So if I could choose to collab with any company, it would be hands down Milk Makeup. I just love, you know, their core message. I love their products. They're very functional, but, you know, yeah, they're just functional, easy to use, they're cool, they're innovative, so I would love to work with Milk Makeup. Oh, what about a mascara? Like a really nice and voluminous mascara, because I do have their mascara, the one that comes in the tube, the Ubami mascara. I have that one, but it works alright, but I would love a more dramatic mascara, so I think that would be like my dream collaboration. Like a natural in terms of ingredients, natural, big, fat, voluminous mascara with Milk Makeup. The next question is from Perla. She asked, what are my favorite movies, what's it like living in California, and the best foundation for oily to normal skin. So my favorite foundation, I have a few. I do love the Bare Minerals Bare Pro Liquid. That's one of my favorite ones. Also from Bare Minerals, I still love their matte foundation, just the loose mineral. That one I've been using for so many years. I do have older videos of me using that foundation. I also really love the Fenty foundation for oily skin. The NARS Velvet matte skin tint I love. The next question was, what's it like living in California? And to be honest, I have no idea. This is all I've known. So even when I lived across the border in Tijuana, it's still California, is Baja California Norte, so it's been, like I said, all I've known. I mean, it's cool, very chill, very relax, and I mean, California is so diverse, so I can only speak on Southern California, mainly San Diego and Tijuana. LA does feel a little bit more hectic in my opinion. It's more busy, there's a lot more things to do. So San Diego and Tijuana are definitely a lot more chill, more relaxed. People are generally very nice. So, I mean, it's cool. And The last question, my favorite movie. So my all-time favorite movie is Interstellar 5555, which is the Daft Punk anime movie. I freaking love that movie so much. I also love Amélie a lot, hence the haircut from earlier this year. I love the Lord of the Rings movies, my favorite one being The Two Towers. I also love Lost in Translation, pretty much any Sofia Coppola movie. The next questions are from Nafala. Any concerts you're planning on going to soon? Phoenix next week. Also, do you have any tips on going to concerts alone? I've always wanted to go solo, but kind of scared as a petite girl. And love your channel, especially your Instagram stories. Thank you. So my tips to going to concerts alone. At first, it's very scary because you do feel very self-conscious of being in a place where there's a lot of people by yourself. But my tips would definitely be get there early-ish. That way you can get to the front or as close to the stage as possible. I feel the safest when I'm along, the physical barrier, and when I do have security guards, like, right there in case someone does get very pushy or I just start feeling uncomfortable, then you can, tell the security guard like, hey, this person is bothering me, and if it does get really bad, which thankfully hasn't been the case, then they can escort, that person out. But I do feel the safest when I'm in the front. Another general concert going tip, it doesn't matter if you're going with, a friend or just by yourself, always be very aware of your surroundings, especially with all the shootings that have happened at music festivals and at concerts. You gotta know where your nearest exits are. So before you get to the show, and I mean, if you do get there early, you definitely have the time to scope out and see where the emergency exits are, kind of assess the situation. So always make sure you know where the exits are and kind of come up with a plan if something were to happen. But just being at a concert alone, definitely be safe about it. Don't go to the bar, don't have a few drinks. You're your own designated driver. You also don't want to, end up in an unsafe situation by getting drunk all by yourself. So I always stick around, if I see someone in the crowd, like another group of girls or like a family or people that seem very kind of trustworthy, although they're strangers, I just kind of stand by them. I have met a lot of my great friends at concerts, so if you see people there are also by themselves or just kind of hanging around, you can just go up to them and have a conversation with them. I know it's a little intimidating, at least for me, because I'm very much an introvert, but that does help the situation. I do enjoy going to concerts alone. By now, I'm just so used to it, and I've learned to really enjoy going to shows alone, but it does take some time. So the first one will be very awkward, and you will feel very self-conscious just standing there on your own. But once the music starts, I mean, nobody really cares if you're, with a group of friends or by yourself. Like, everyone's just paying attention to the music. So I mean, just have fun. It's fun. It's really fun. And the next question is from Xiomara. Xiomara? I don't know. I'm so sorry if I butchered your name, girl. I'm really, really bad. But she asked, what are your favorite books? I don't have too many. As I said, I'm not the best reader. But I have enjoyed A Brave New World. I read that book 3 times in school. Twice in high school, once in college, so I know that book really, really well. I also do love, I have read all of the Lord of the Rings books, including The Hobbit. Those I really enjoyed, and those I read, as leisure. I was just enjoying myself. And the very last question comes from Estella. She asked, what is your favorite thing about yourself? My favorite thing about myself is how loyal I am to people. I've always taken a lot of pride in being that reliable friend. Like, you can always tell me anything if you have any question, if you just need, someone to be like your shoulder to cry on, I'll be that person. So that's something that I really like about myself. if I have to say something physical about myself, I really do like my eyes a lot. It's something that I do like to play around with quite a lot. Whether it be eyeshadow or liner, I just really enjoy, I really enjoy my eyes. So those were all the questions in my Q&A. Sorry if I rambled. I know I did, just because that's just who I am. I like to ramble a lot. So thank you to each and every single one of you who left me a question or a few questions. I really appreciate it. I look forward to doing another one very soon. Probably early 2018, but I mean, next year is right around the corner, so it'll happen sooner than later. So thank you guys so much once again. Subscribe if you're brand new, and I'll see you guys very soon in my next video. Bye! Cathedral. So I've chosen my 5 colors, and out of those 5 I've only used 2 of them, Ashes and Double. The other 3 I have not played around with yet. So Stigmata is this metallic red, which is on camera looks like a primary red, and